Hi, I'm Lucy. I'm a 3A management engineering student at the University of Waterloo. Something fun about me is that I like to run and swim a lot. So that's something I try and do with my time outside of school. I think the main reason to come to Waterloo Engineering is how it really impacts the way that you can be hired for things. So I think it really helps get a full-time position, or obviously a co-op position as well. You've probably heard about co-op if you're looking at coming here, but also through classes and different activities on campus that they really help to make you a more compelling candidate, I guess, for a full-time job afterwards. Things like during my first year classes, even we had projects that I've talked about in every single interview, at least in one of my projects, talking about teamwork and talking about the different ways that we sort of manage that project. I think that those things really make you a more compelling candidate for a full-time job afterwards or for co-op positions. And I know that a lot of my friends in other programs don't have quite the same resume that I do, maybe because of Waterloo Engineering. And that's definitely the reason that I chose coming here, was because of that. As for my experiences as a woman in engineering at Waterloo, to be honest, I don't really think that they've been too different from those of my male counterparts. I feel like my engineering is, I think, a bit more of an even split. Maybe a bit more than a third of my class is women, so I don't really tend to find that it's too different from, I think my experience is too different from anybody else's. I think it's fairly similar, and I think I've been treated pretty well here. I think the main challenge I've faced as a woman in engineering here is really sort of, I guess, proving that I am on the same level as some of my male counterparts. You're given a scholarship, or maybe you get in earlier than somebody else in your class, and people tend to go just immediately assume that it's because you're a girl. Oh, well, that's awesome, you got that scholarship. It's definitely because you're a girl. They want more girls to go into engineering. Maybe it's because I had a really high average in high school, or I was a part of all these clubs. Maybe it's because my application was just as good as yours was. And I think sometimes convincing people of those things is a bit of a challenge as a woman in engineering. I would definitely say that part of the reason I chose Waterloo Engineering is because they talk actively about how they have no sort of quota. There's no percent specifically that Waterloo Engineering really looks to have of women, which is really nice when then you get told that, oh, you only got in early because you're a girl. Well, no, I didn't, because they tell me that they don't need a specific quota. And that's something that I really appreciate about being at Waterloo, is because I can tell people that. As for what advice I have for future students, I would say try and work on your resume, I guess, as much as you can on those AIFs, and really just for incoming Waterloo students, I think a huge thing that maybe not all of us think about quite as much as our marks or our academics is how hireable you are. It's so easy to just focus so much on your grades and do you have a high enough math mark? Do you have a high enough physics mark? Are you going to be okay in those classes? And that's awesome. You should focus on that, but also really focusing on your resume and what might look good on your resume. Can you join a class? Can you join a club? Can you have a part-time job? Can you do something that might really benefit your resume? Who can polish up your resume for you? Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a mentor, maybe it's somebody else from your school. I think that's something that's really, really helpful, especially once then you come into first year and you've already got that resume that everybody else is now struggling and panicking to get set up. That might be a really beneficial thing for you to do. But also, don't worry, everything will be fine. You'll be okay. Your grades might drop a bit, and that's not a big deal. It's fine.